In this session, we will go back to the architectural model and use the conceptual shapes placed when you originally blocked out the model to create glass panels. You will use the curtain wall tool to create these glass panels. Before you actually do that, you should make sure the shape is exactly the size and shape you want and that it sits correctly on the purlins already modeled in the structural model. So start by creating a selection set of the canopy structure and the glass shapes. Then turn this into a display set. For the first step, you will modify the panel so that there is a gap between each panel that aligns with the gap between the wood supports. You can easily do this by using the Move Parallel tool to modify each shape. Select the Move Parallel tool. Set the distance to 5 inches or 125 millimeters. Select each shape and move it inwards the set distance. You may wish to delete the construction lines drawn earlier so that you can identify the shapes in the side view. Next, you will move the shapes so that they are the correct distance above the purlins. The shapes will represent the center line of the glass, so you will move the shape so that it is 3/4 of an inch or 20 millimeters above the purlins, allowing for a narrow edge frame around the glass. Create a selection set of all the shapes on one side of the butterfly canopy. Select the Move tool. Use RE to rotate the AccuDraw compass to the slope of the shape. Move the cursor towards the top of the purlin and use Enter to lock the axis. Snap to the top of the purlin, then type O to reset the AccuDraw origin. Now again, lock the axis and move a distance of 3/4 of an inch or 20 millimeters. Then data point to accept. Finally, move the shapes along the slope so that they align with the end of the purlin. Repeat these steps for the outer side of the canopy. Now you can shorten the panel shapes on the right side of the canopy. Select a shape and use a corner handle to create a shape that extends 10 feet or 3 meters along the beam. Once the first shape is extended, the remaining shapes can just be extended to match the adjacent shape. Now let's have a little fun with the design. Rather than this relatively simple straight butterfly canopy, we could modify the front edge to match the curb line where the buses load and unload. Let's start by creating a construction line indicating the edge geometry. Set the family and part to General. Constructions dashed. Use the Move Parallel tool to copy the curb edge out by 2'6" or 750 millimeters. This will create a closed complex shape. Use the Drop Complex Status tool to drop the shape to line segments. Next, delete the rounded corners so that only the line segments are left. You can also delete all segments that are not at the front curb edge. Use the Trim to Intersection tool to connect the remaining line segments. In fact, you can use the Create Complex Chain tool to chain them back together as a single element. Set the method to automatic. Select the first line segment, and it should automatically find the adjacent line segments. If one is missed, just add it manually and data point to accept. Now you will adjust the shapes to the new construction line. Select the first shape. Select the handle on the first vertex. Move it to the intersection of the construction line. Note that the entire side moves. Use the Alt key on the keyboard to move just the vertex. Then snap to the intersection with the construction line and data point to accept. Repeat this for each vertex. In some cases, there will not be an intersection to snap to because the construction line is beyond the existing shape. In this case, use the Enter key to lock the axis, then use a nearest snap to the construction line to find the projected intersection, then data point to accept. Adjust all the shapes. Now that the geometry is set up, you can use the curtain wall tool to create the glass panels. Select the curtain wall tool, set the catalog item to Project Glass Canopy. The number of horizontal panels should be set to 3. You want this to match the purlin spacing. Note that custom volumes and frames were created for this catalog item. On the placement ribbon, set the Place By method to Shape. Set the justification to center. Again, this means the center line of the glass panel. Select each shape. For the wider shapes, change the horizontal number on the curtain wall dialog to 5. Again, this needs to match the purlin spacing. In this session, you have created a glass canopy using shapes and the curtain wall tool. You carefully modified the shapes to align with the structure and the curb edge of the drop zone. In the next session, you will add one final detail to the roof canopy, which is the gutter that will run between the two sides. You will create a custom profile for this gutter.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. If you want to see more such series, consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you, and see you next time.